Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to another live stream here on the channel. It has been 6 days since I last did a live stream for you guys, so I wanted to boot one up and get talking about the severe weather today, tomorrow, the next few days, the heat wave, the tropics, the flooding, all that stuff, bunch of stuff to go through. So I decided to do a video, or rather a live stream as opposed to a video. Let's see what we have here in the chat today. We have Kenny, we have Rebel, Jason, Pete. Hi, Pete. Bye, Pete. Imagine going to the gym. Hello, Catman. Caleb, didn't know it was Netflix hour. Had no idea about that. Apparently, Netflix is what you guys were off to go watch. Jefferson, let's see. Apparently, the HRRR's in here. You're pretty accurate. I like that model run. Bond in here, and everybody else who is in the chat who may just be watching, not chatting. Glad to have you in here. Let's go ahead and switch over to our main scene. I'm just going to double check a few things. It's been a hot minute. Okay, I just got your microphone is muted. Really? I'm pretty sure they can hear me, stupid Streamlabs, man. Literally, like, 3 minutes into the live stream, it's already giving me major error over here. It gave me a red error, which is as high as it gets for Streamlabs. It's saying that you guys can't hear me. I literally see it moving. Like, come on, bro. But, yeah. Mic might be a little bit too close. A little loud here. Okay, there we go. Might be a bit better there. So, yeah, just... It's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute since a live stream. It's going to be a little rusty. We'll see how it goes today. But we're going to talk about the potential for severe storms. Tropics, too. If you watched my video the other day, we talked about the potential for an AOI in the Gulf and another AOI back out in the Atlantic. They have not highlighted the one in the Atlantic at the moment, but they actually have highlighted the AOI out here in the Gulf. And this is actually the remnants of, guess what, 93L way back when, like literally a week and a half ago. This thing sat over Texas, then it moved up into the northeast, and then it slowly drifted to the southwest, and then eventually it came off the coastline of Georgia and back on into the Gulf. So this thing has been across the whole country over the last week and a half or so, and it's back here trying to develop pretty much in the same spot. I mean, about it was like a week and a half ago, the AOI was actually up in this area. And now we have a good chance for development just barely off to the southwest quadrant of where our previous AOI was up in the Gulf here. So I don't think this will form. I think it will be just like 93L. I don't think it will be actually designated 95L, but it does have a good chance to be a bit more tropical. You know, the last one we had, it was a very unorganized low pressure, spent much of its time over Georgia, Alabama, and the western panhandle of Florida, got in the Gulf for about 12 hours, hit southeastern Louisiana with a bit of flash flooding, thankfully not as bad as what it could have been. And I don't really expect, honestly, I don't expect that big of a flash flood threat, but I do expect it to look a little bit more tropical since this is going to be spending a lot more time in the open Gulf as opposed to 93L. So we'll continue to just keep an eye on this. You know, we'll dive into maybe some model runs here, but I'm not going to do a crazy deep dive into the tropics with just this being, you know, the low end threat that it is. But let's go ahead and move over to what we're looking at right now across the U.S. So we've got some strong storms out here, a lot of convection across much of Minnesota, Wisconsin, even back out into South Dakota. Later on, we will see a bit more rapid destabilization occur. Potentially could see a tornado or two today, 60, 70 mile an hour winds, 1 to 2 inch in diameter hail. You know, the same old thing, really see it all the time in summer. Flash flooding is going to be a big issue as we just got a flash flood warning right there. Apparently expires in 9 minutes, so I guess that was actually just canceled. So flooding could be a big issue today across this area with how much thunderstorms we're going to continue to see. You know, these storms will move out of the Twin Cities here in about an hour and a half, and then another wave will develop towards about 5, maybe 6 o'clock Central Time. So we're going to continue to watch this mainly for a flood threat, but again, could see a tornado or 2, 60, 70 mile an hour winds, 1 to 2 inch in diameter hail. So here's the outlook for today. We've got 2 slight risks for severe weather in effect here across the northern tier of the country. Slight risk back out there in Wyoming, with a huge slight risk out there from South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, all the way back up into Michigan and southern Ontario. So definitely looking at a good chance for severe storms today. And also just a recap over the last 6 days. So our last live stream, I believe, was the 17th. Since then, on the 18th, we had a few tornadoes in Iowa, one in Nebraska. Day following, on the 19th, we had a couple tornadoes there in Ohio, one in Nebraska, another one in Wyoming. On the 20th, we had a few tornadoes out of a single supercell in southern South Dakota, northern Nebraska. The day before yesterday, we had just a random tornado down there in Florida. And then yesterday we had a random tornado in New Jersey. It was a land spout in New Jersey. And then today we have had mainly just some damaging winds earlier this morning. So overall, nothing too crazy. We haven't had any tornado outbreaks, any derechos, any MCSs, something insane. Haven't seen anything like that. Just a couple of damaging wind reports. Some small hail. We did have 5-inch hail the other day, I think, out in Nebraska with 80 mile an hour winds and a couple, you know, we had 2, 3 tornadoes. That was on the 20th. That was a bit more of a notable threat. But nothing really too insane, especially comparing it to earlier in April, May of what we saw earlier this year. And we're just going to continue to see this pattern where we continue to have some damaging winds, some small to large hail today, tomorrow, and on as well as day 3. Today is definitely the highest tornado threat for the next couple of days. I don't see any good tornado threats outside of today. We could still see the spin-up tornado somewhere tomorrow, but if we're going to see 2+ tornadoes in the next week or so in a single day, today's going to be the day to do it, because we have that 5% tornado risk in effect over Wisconsin and Michigan. So we're going to keep an eye on that eastern Minnesota as well. Although I do think it is downtrended quite a lot. We've had a lot of over convection in this area. Destabilization is still maintaining. It's not affected that Cape value too much. We're still chilling around the 2 to 2.5 thousand mark for surface-based instability. So it's not affecting that instability like an absurd amount to the point where we won't see severe storms later on today. But we could see, you know, 1, 2, maybe even a couple tornadoes today, especially if we get any semi-discrete storms. But this overconvection is going to help lead to that clustered, messy mode with also, you know, maybe a little bit of a hurting atmosphere in terms of a cool pool and a little less instability than what we were initially forecasting out here. So they haven't dropped that 5% tornado risk It honestly, it would not shock me if they drop it completely at the 4 o'clock update. But even then, tomorrow we don't have a tornado risk. Day 3 doesn't look that good either. The next couple days just don't look good for tornadoes. Now they do look good for some, isolated damaging winds. We've been talking about these events for the last couple of days on our videos. But a lot of these are just going to be that damaging winds, some small to large hail, and the tornado threats are going to be very far few between. We could have a tornado in Minnesota, then a random land spout in New Jersey, and then the random land spout in New Mexico. It's not going to be any focused area of like tornado outbreak potential for these next couple of days. The main threat over everything over the next few days is going to be the heat. We already hit heat indices of like 115 or so, somewhere around there, 110, 115 out in Florida the other day. And I wouldn't be surprised if, we break even higher than that in South Dakota over these next few coming days here. Because the temperatures, man, is going to be horrific. Like literally don't go outside type temperatures. Especially in Oklahoma and Texas, and then going into Saturday, Sunday, this upcoming weekend, the East Coast is going to be cooking. We're going to be with heat indexes of 110 to 115 out in Georgia, South Carolina, maybe even as far north as southern North Carolina. So just be very careful when going outside. Make sure you're taking frequent breaks in the shade. Make sure you stay very hydrated. Keep an eye on your elderly loved ones. Just make sure that that everybody's doing all right, because it's going to be hot these next few days. It's only 85 outside right now here in Virginia. Probably the coolest it's going to be until the August 4th time frame out in my neck of the woods. So in terms of flooding, I do want to go over flooding just a little bit. Try to get the days straight here. So today is Wednesday. So this is today's risk Wednesday here, July 23rd. Main risk for flooding, like I mentioned before, it's going to be mainly Minnesota and Wisconsin. Could see some isolated flooding out there in Nebraska, Iowa, South Dakota as well. Thursday, tomorrow, flooding moves to the south, Wisconsin, Illinois, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa. Keep an eye on the potential for some isolated flash flooding. It moves even just a little bit more to the east, southeast going on into Friday. Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, even into Ohio and Kentucky, Cincinnati, Ohio included in that slight risk 2 out of 4 for flooding there on Friday. Over the weekend, Saturday shifts a little bit more to the southeast, closer to Virginia and North Carolina. It actually downgrades to a level 1 out of 4 there for flooding. Illinois, Indiana, yet again, all the way to Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, back up into New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia under that risk as well. And then the day 5, which is the last one we can look at, Sunday, we do have a marginal continuing out there in New York, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island there for Sunday. And the actual interesting thing, there's actually 2 other interesting things. I mentioned this one, but it's actually the least of the concern for flash flooding at the moment on Sunday. The main concern is actually the level 2 out of 4. Already on the day 5 outlook, we've got a level 2 out of 4 for flash flooding out there. Slight risk in North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, barely staying away from Michigan there. So definitely could see some flash flooding, could see this upgraded to a moderate risk, level 3 out of 4, if by the time we get to the day 1 outlook here, remember this is day 5, that's 4 days away, this is Sunday, it looks like this might be a bit more of a notable flood threat. So definitely want to keep an eye on that, especially if you live in Minnesota, could see some of those training severe storms leading to possibly notable flash flooding. Another very interesting thing, like I said, New York was probably the least of the concern here going into Sunday. Actually not highlighted on Sunday. It's actually going to be Friday I wanted to mention. So let me just reiterate that because I got my days mixed up. So there's your flood risk northeast and then the north central plains. And then Friday's risk I want to mention down here in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida. We have a marginal level 1 out of 4 for flash flooding. I think that's also for tomorrow as well. Yeah, tomorrow, but most specifically on day 3, Friday, we have the potential for some flash flooding associated with this area of interest here in the Gulf. It doesn't look like it's going to be anything too crazy. I'll quickly, we'll take a look at it together. This is our multi-day, so we can see the flooding potential. So this is today and tomorrow. definitely could see some flooding along the western peninsula and panhandle of Florida, even into southern Louisiana, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama. Gonna have to keep an eye on that. And then going into today all the way until Saturday, you can see it could get some totals 3-4 inches of rainfall here along the Gulf coastline. So definitely want to watch out for some flash flooding, especially out in these areas. Very bad timing to go to the beach. So if you have a vacation planned here for this upcoming weekend, just keep in mind there could be some flooding impacts ongoing starting tomorrow, lasting all the way till Saturday. And then days 1 through 5 could see a little bit more moisture there. We're going to go to the daily. That way we can see this a bit better. So that's today, tomorrow, and then Friday. Today actually is going to bring a lot of flooding threats there to the coastal areas as well, upwards of 2 inches of rainfall. So in terms of longer than that, now this is for the next week. So this is counting today's rainfall all the way until like Tuesday or so, Tuesday-ish next week. A lot of flooding, potentially upwards of 4 inches of rainfall over the next week. So not, 4 inches of rain in one day, spread throughout the next 6-7 days here. And then look back up here in Wisconsin. Today, I think, is the main flood risk in Wisconsin. Could see some isolated 2.5 inches of rainfall for today and tomorrow. And then, like I was mentioning earlier, going into Sunday, we could see additional very heavy rainfall out in this same area, also moving back into Iowa. So a lot of flooding. Flooding is probably going to be the biggest issue over the next few days here in the U.S. outside of heat. So heat, flash flooding, those are your two biggest concerns here. And then we could see a couple of severe storms, possibly an isolated tornado or two in the next few days, but nothing like a tornado outbreak or strong tornado threat or anything like that. And that's the main thing. I mean, unless you want to look at the snowfall, but I don't think we're really forecasting any snow anytime soon. Nope, not forecasting any snow anytime soon. Hey, had to check. It's getting a little bit close. Early. What is it? It's July. Yeah, late. Kind of early. I think early October is when we start seeing this really start to increase going towards our Rocky Mountains and our lake effect areas. Early October is like the earliest we start to talk about winter weather. But no snow forecasted anytime soon, so we don't need to worry about that. Just checking again. I just want to check a little bit more. Yeah, no snow forecasted for the next week or so. Also want to show y'all this. So this is our tropical hazards here. And there is a chance of tropical formation over the into next week as well, is what I meant to say. Like I said, a little rusty. It's been 6 days since I last streamed. I'll get you the date for this because it doesn't really say here. July 30th through August 5th. So we have our AOI in the Gulf now. That obviously will disappear on Saturday as it makes landfall Friday. And then after that, July 30th all the way till the 5th, we've got additional chances of tropical development out there into the northern and northeastern Gulf, the far western Atlantic, just off the coast areas of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Also do want to mention we could see more tropical development out here in the main development region. Right now, looks like all of that will be very minimal. I don't see anything worth doing a deep dive into tropical-wise. I'll just take a quick peek at it on my other monitor. Yeah, nah. I don't really see anything. There's a few ensembles that hint towards marginal tropical development, really just to the west, southwest of Cape Verde, going into the last few days of July, but nothing that you guys need to be concerned about or worried about or anything like that. Watch out for the clickbait. It's still out there. I literally saw it today. Watch out for the clickbait YouTubers who are highlighting the whole main development region saying, watch out, big issues, all that crazy wording saying, there's going to be a tropical storm in a couple days out here in the main development region. Nothing's going to happen in the main development region. We had that quick 10% AOI, bump to 20, back down to 10%, and then 0%, but it didn't do anything. It did become an invest, which I was shocked at. It became 94L for some reason. It barely had a low pressure. But it just died off. It delivered some rain impacts to the Lesser Antilles. Actually should be today Yeah, there is. This is probably, I imagine this is probably some of the remnant rainfall from 94L, chilling out here, going to, what is it, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados. I've got to relearn how you pronounce all these names. It's been a hot minute. Guadeloupe, all this is staying south of Guadeloupe. So it's really with these three main islands here in the central Leeward Islands. Weatherwise update today. Weatherwise update. They have added radar in two different radars here in the Lesser Antilles. They have added the Puerto Rico radar site as well. So three new radars here. I think they've possibly this might be new as well. They added two radars out here. I don't even know what island this is. I'm going to be straightforward with you. Saint Denis. I have heard of that before. I actually have heard of that. Yeah, they added radars there, and also in the Philippines. But the main one was 30, like 30 some radars out here in France. They added all of these up here in Finland and all of these around France too. So that was the main thing. They added like overall like 35 plus radars with this update today, all across the country, and even across the world too. So pretty cool. Definitely cool for tropical activity, tropical waves out here in the Lesser Antilles. We'll be able to see that a lot easier. So another weather-wise update there. And who knows? Maybe we could finally start tracking more of some France weather here. There's been some good 3 out of 3. That's their severe level scale. It's literally 1 to 3. What are they? It's like pink. I think they call it extreme. I'm not too sure. It's been a hot minute since I checked, but yeah, there's been some good risks up here. Just I haven't gone live for any of them because I don't know if the radars are good enough. That scared me half to death. That should be turned off. I don't even have that on. Yo, wait, that's not even on right now. Dude, it's not even a tab. I wish I could show you guys, but literally you have to add it on your sources and it's not even there. It doesn't exist. But thank you, Bond, for becoming an EF2 member. I appreciate it. It doesn't exist. It would have popped up in front of you guys if it existed. So gracious, that scared me. Jump scare. But thank you for becoming an EF2 member. I appreciate it, Bond. Glad to have you here. Let's see here. Nope, I have no idea, Cruz. I haven't messed with anything on mobile for Streamlabs. But again, thank you for becoming an EF2 member, Bond. Really appreciate it. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning out here for Fall Creek and Augusta out in north central Wisconsin. So make sure you are indoors, away from doors and windows. Don't go outside. Frequent lightning, heavy rainfall, very small hail, and up to 60-mile-an-hour winds will be possible over the next 37-ish minutes or so. Also, new severe out here in southwestern Nebraska for 1.25-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds for the next 37 minutes. Same hazards there. You know, stay away from doors and windows. Don't go outside. Could be a bit larger hail in this area, so if you are traveling along the I-80 corridor, it's best to either, you know, if you're traveling westbound, best to, you know, just stop, pull a UE if you can on an off-ramp or overpass. Or if you are driving through, I don't recommend it. I bet there's people parked under this right here. I could almost bet you. Whenever there's a little overpass, underpass right like this in the middle of a hail core, you nearly always have at least one person stopped under here. Nearly every single time. So, wouldn't surprise me if there's people parked under here, and generally you shouldn't do it. Overall, even if it's a hailstorm and there's no tornado threat, you really just shouldn't do it, because even if there's not a tornado and it's just a gust of 40-mile-an-hour winds, it can be enhanced by the underpass. So yeah, even though it's very tempting to do, you know, you want to park under an overpass so that way you don't get hail damage. It's best to just, you know, pull over on the side of the interstate, or more importantly, it's better to go like up here, pull up here, right? And then like pull into the Shell gas station or something, right? You want to try to avoid parking under overpasses and try your best. It's difficult, but try your best to avoid parking on the shoulders too during hailstorms, because that could be a big, big hazard. You know, some people might not slow down or see you. They're flying at 60, 70 miles an hour on an interstate through a hailstorm. You're on the shoulder, and then boom, they hit you. So it's just best to go on an off ramp, pull into like a gas station and some store and park there. And I say that from experience because I was on the interstate. Thankfully, I'm not that dumb. Okay, I was going 20 miles per hour, and literally everybody was stopped. So I didn't slam on my brakes or anything because, like I said, I was going slow because it was hailing. And I came up on a full traffic jam. It literally, the interstate was like 4 lanes. You had everybody was on the shoulders and in the middle of the interstate and under the overpass. It just caused a huge traffic jam. So that's what you want to try to avoid, even though it's very difficult because, you know, you see everybody else parking under the overpass. Everyone else is on the shoulder. You want to join them. But believe me, it's just best to go, you know, up the on ramp and then pull over in a parking spot and in a parking lot. I just kept going. I just kept driving the best I could. Just going slow. What's up with all the commands in here? Caleb, no, members is not a command because I can't fit it. You can only have a few. You can only have a few commands. It's limited to like, I don't know, 10, something like that. But yeah, also have a 40% chance of tropical formation towards the end of July, beginning of August out here in the Eastern Pacific. Shouldn't really see any land impacts. I'm not expecting that. Have a random AOI out here in the Eastern Pacific. Or actually Central Pacific. That doesn't look too shabby. Is that the I wonder if that's it right there. Let's see if that's possibly the AOI. Pacific, Central. Yeah, that looks to be it. It looks to really be sustaining now. I don't think it's going to end up forming, but just interesting. That's pretty good area of convection for a tropical system. It has a 0% chance in the next 48 hours, so I bet that's going to go up. I bet that is going to go up quite quickly. Will I ever get my 540 inches of snowfall? It depends on where you live. If you live in Texas, never. If you live in like the Rocky Mountains, eventually you might be dead before you accumulate all the way up to 540 inches of snowfall. I mean, I don't know, the Rockies, it depends on where you are. Sometimes the Rockies gets upwards of like literally 80 inches of snowfall in a year. So, you know, if you do the math on that, I don't know, 7 years. So, Nashville, oh yeah, you'll be dead. I hate to tell you, Otter, but yeah, we're all going to be dead before Nashville gets 540 inches of snowfall. I don't think Nashville is going to get 540 inches of snowfall anytime soon. Could you imagine? 45 feet of snow. Dude. That is just crazy. There's no way. There's no way. There is no way. No, I mean like 80 inches of snowfall in a specific spot in the Rockies. Like, let me see. How much does... We'll just go with a higher elevation. Let's go to, like, that area. Colorado. Yearly snowfall. So I did a specific city. 72 inches of snowfall in 1 year is the average snow per year for Idaho Springs, Colorado. So there you go. Exactly. Not over all the Rockies. Over all the Rockies, dude, I don't know if you can measure that. That would be impossible. Even if you had the map of it, that's still going to be impossible. Literally. I don't think anybody has a chance of seeing 540 inches of snowfall in a year. I don't think anyone has a chance for that. What's the record? What's the most snowfall in a year? I stand very corrected. What? I apologize. I had no idea 1,140 inches of snowfall fell. So apparently somebody could see that. Where is that? Let me see. 95 feet of snow in 1 year. It definitely wasn't Nashville, but I want to see where this was. It was a ski resort. 4,200 elevation. It was. Oh man, I've seen that area on. There you go, right up here. It was somewhere right up in here. 95 feet of snow. I'm not gonna lie, I had no idea that somewhere in the U.S. has seen that much snow in 1 year. I was expecting it to be like 100, maybe 200 inches of snow. But, yeah, I was not expecting, what was it? Like 1,140 or something? Somewhere around there. I already forgot. I already forgot. I already forgot. But, yep. That's crazy. Wasn't Nashville, though. Wasn't Nashville. I just didn't know that somebody actually had a chance to see over 1,000 inches of snowfall in a year. I actually thought that was impossible. Southeast Texas. Yep, probably not going to be too fun for heat over the next few days. I think the worst is going to be Nebraska. Like I said, I think Florida had a heat index of 110 to 115. I believe it was the day before yesterday. They got to 110, 115 or so. I could go look at it. I know somebody who posted it. Let's see. I don't know. This person tweets a lot, so it might be a hot minute before I can find out when it was. Let's see here. Okay, apparently I can't find it. Never mind. Yeah, but I know that it was at least 110 index. At least 110 index. And I think out here in Nebraska, I don't know, the best day for it to be broken is probably Saturday. Like, yeah, Saturday. It looks like actually Texas has a chance to see heat indexes of up to 115. Now I'm curious because I want to know the exact number. I want to know the exact number to see if we can, how high the U.S. can get for a heat index this weekend or early next week. Okay, I found it. Florida was 111. That was the max heat index the other day. And that was 2 days ago on the 21st. Max heat index was just to the, let's see. It was somewhere in here, I think. Yeah. Yeah, this area hit a heat index of 111. But I'm more curious to see if we can beat that. I think it will be Nebraska or southern Oklahoma that beats that. Let's go. Thursday, heat indexes of 110 in southeast Texas. Friday, Saturday, heat indexes up to 115 in west central Illinois. That includes the St. Louis metro on this upcoming Saturday. Sunday, ooh, a lot of people could get 110 to 115. Eastern Nebraska, most of Iowa, most of Illinois, portions of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, most of the southeastern U.S. from New Jersey all the way down to northern Florida. We all have chances of 110 heat indexes. So this weekend is going to be horrible. The GFS says Monday, this upcoming Monday, next Monday, what, like 6 days from now, 5 days from now, 125 heat indexes in western Iowa. I don't think it's going to get that crazy, but I think you get the point that this heat wave is not something to just, brush off and continue your daily activities. You need to make sure that you know how hot it's going to be before you go out. Make sure you're always going to have a bottle of water with you. Make sure you're taking frequent breaks in the shade, because it could get very hot out there. The best place is going to be like central New York. Pretty much through this next week and a half, central New York should stay below 95 degrees Fahrenheit. But, I mean, pretty much everywhere else in the central and eastern U.S. is going to have heat indexes well over 90, 95 degrees Fahrenheit this week. I wish I could show this site that you guys could see it, but I can't. So if you're going outside, always carry a bottle of water and make sure you're taking frequent breaks. Because it's very serious. We lose about 1,300 people from deadly heat per year. So, I mean, it's very, very dangerous. It is really, really dangerous. You want to make sure you're acknowledging how hot it's going to be in your area. I did see someone talk about the tornado threat today. They wanted me to go over that. I think it was Tornadic Rebel, possibly, about the threat for tornadoes today. Let me clear up some tabs, and I will gladly talk about that just a second. Clear that up. All right, there we go. Alrighty. Let's talk about this totally crazy tornado threat. I want to check. Let me zoom in here. Get everything going to the right area. All right, so we're looking at generally this area for our tornado threat today. Let's see how it looks here on the HRRR. Zoom out one more. There we go. So this is 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, we're going to start seeing some strong to severe storms pop up here in Wisconsin. Some isolated supercells start to fire here in Iowa, southeastern Minnesota, western Wisconsin as well. Damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, 60, 70 mile per hour winds there. 1 to 2 inch hail will be possible, 6, 7 o'clock Eastern time. And then the main stuff really gets firing here, probably about 7 o'clock, maybe 8 o'clock Eastern time, probably closer to 7, is when we start to see those main storms fire here. You can see them really start to bubble up here in southern Minnesota, but that's not where our best environment is. If we take a look at our supercell composite, our best environment is definitely going to be over central northern Wisconsin here, going towards about 8 o'clock. So 6, 7 o'clock Eastern time, storms get going. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, they really start to explode here in intensity, a lot more widespread. And then 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, they're probably going to start dying off pretty fast. We're only going to have a pretty short window here. Storms fire near 6, 7 Eastern time. And then it explodes up and rapidly dies out at about 10, 11. So, HRRR has storms firing here at 6 o'clock. And then our peak activity is probably going to be 8, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And then storms start to die off towards 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And then by midnight, much of these storms should be dead. Yeah, storms will fire about 6 to 7. Yep. Matter of fact, actually, technically, you could say they have already fired because we already have our first severe storm out here. So technically, you could say our severe threat's already underway. because we already have our first severe thunderstorm warning, and it is a Tor possible tag now. But for the main event, which is the 5% tornado risk right in here, those storms fire probably about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. If we take a look at the NAM says they fire here in an hour. Things fire in an hour. We're really paying attention to where the front is. Wherever the front is, that's where your storms are going to fire. Right along that front. What time is it? It's 3:40 Eastern, 1940Z. And storms should fire about 22 to 23Z, which is 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock Eastern. And then peak in activity about 0Z to 01Z, which is 8, 9 Eastern. And then begin to die out towards 02, 03Z, which is 10, 11 Eastern. And we really should just be left with a lot of heavy rainfall, mainly flooding being the biggest threat towards 04Z, which is midnight Eastern. Not looking forward to that time change here. When is it? Is it November the time change happens? Not looking forward to that. That's not going to be fun. I'm just starting to get used to the time we're in now, and then I'm going to have to rememorize all of our Zulu again. Yeah, so not the best setup by any means. I don't think we'll see a crazy tornado outbreak or anything like that. The biggest threat is going to be definitely damaging winds with any organized bowing segments that can fire along either the cold front or the morning convection that's happening right now in north central Wisconsin. Still ongoing here at 3:40, so not really morning convection anymore. But yeah, if we could see any of these bowing segments, anything like that, those are going to have the best chance for damaging winds here. And that, you could see, is 8, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Tornado threat will definitely peak when these storms are first firing. Your peak tornado activity should be like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then damaging winds become the primary threat for the next hour, hour and a half. And then 10 o'clock, everything starts to die out. It's not a bad environment. It is not a bad environment at all. I mean, we have good instability of 3,000 to 4,000 joules in the surface based. We have, depending on exactly where you look, 150 to 250 0 to 1 kilometer SRH. Mid-level SRH 0 to 3 kilometers, close to 450. So wind shear, not really a crazy issue. Instability, pretty good. Dew points are into the mid-70s. Horrible for any outdoor activities in Wisconsin. Temps are probably in the upper 80s, lower 90s, so definitely favors more damaging winds, isolated large hail, and a spin-up tornado or two. Nothing too crazy. And then tomorrow, Thursday, really not going to see anything too crazy either. I wouldn't rule out a spin-up tornado in Michigan. Near a surface low that could develop towards the late afternoon into the early evening hours, right around supper time. But mainly it's going to be 60-mile-an-hour winds, 1-inch hail as the primary threat. And it doesn't look like... I don't think they're going to upgrade that to a slight risk. It doesn't look that good. Nothing back out here looks that notable either, so... Who knows, maybe tomorrow will be our first marginal day and no slight risk day in like the last... I don't know, it's been probably about a week. And then Friday, that shifts into the northeastern U.S. Wouldn't fully rule out a tornado, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's the possibility of a brief spin-up tornado, but most likely it's just going to be 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds possible out here from central PA up through southern Maine, just like our severe threat a couple days ago out here. Can't fully rule out a spin-up tornado, but you're not going to have a lot of lower-level wind shear. A lot of that's going to be locked in the mid-level. And your dew points, pretty good dew points, good temperature dew point spread, good mid-level wind shear, horrible lower-level wind shear. So definitely will allow for mainly damaging winds, 60, maybe even a gust of 70 on Friday. 1-inch hail and wouldn't be surprised if we do see, an isolated tornado warning out here. So we could see a tornado. When's the winter forecast? I don't know. That's the last thing on my mind. I'm not too sure at all. I'm not going to even promise one this year because things have been so busy. It's crazy. It is crazy. I almost wasn't able to live stream today, but I cleared my schedule. I'm like, I got to live stream at least once this week. Come on. So things are crazy. I'm busy Friday, Saturday, and probably Sunday as well. So we'll see if I can fit in any videos or live streams. I was thinking about doing a how-to tutorial on either Radar or Weatherwise, because Weatherwise tutorial needs an update. They've done countless updates since my last video. But the second tornado season forecast, that doesn't happen. That's mixed in with the winter forecast. So, I don't know. It would probably be, like Catman said, mid-November. No, that's not planned this Friday. I'm definitely not able to do it this Friday. No way. No way. Lucky is still swamped too, so that's either going to be that 10-hour stream if we're even able to do it. Hopefully we have the energy for it. That's either going to be like the last few days of July or sometime in August. Pretty difficult for me to find a day that Lucky's fully available. That's not very easy to do. They did take the Tor Possible tag off of this storm here in Fall Creek, Wisconsin, so that's good. $10K special, not even at 10K. The 17th is when we hit 10K. I don't care what YouTube says. We did all over the 10K live stream. We did that already. YouTube just decided to do its bot clearing at the middle of July. It happens about once a month. They do a bot clearing. You just lose a bunch of subs. But I don't care. Shoot, I would much rather have real people than bots subscribe to my channel, so. Get rid of them. My voice is gone. I don't know what it is. My voice is not used to doing live streams all of a sudden, and it's like, it's struggling to talk right now. Alright, come on, man. But yeah, off camera, I've been swamped with stuff. I've been very, very busy. Really busy. Videos, I was able to do videos a lot quicker than live streams. And the big thing about the difference between videos and live streams is videos, I'm able to just make them and release them instantly. Whereas with a live stream, I plan it. I have a set time that I go live, and sometimes that doesn't work out too well, and I end up having to cancel other plans because sometimes things come up literally last second, and then boom, my live stream scheduled for 6 o'clock, but I also have other things scheduled for 6 o'clock, so I have to cancel those other plans and do a live stream at 6. Whereas if I do a video, whenever I feel like it in the middle of the day, I just make it, release it. I did not change my special weather statement color. No, it's been blue. It's literally the same color, pretty sure. I did change it a while ago, like a long while ago. Like, I think it was tan. It's still tan-ish on Radar Omega, but on Weatherwise, it's been blue for a long time. I'm pretty sure. Let me see. trying to see if I can find a live stream where I showed special weather statements. Apparently that's pretty difficult to find. No, yeah, this is blue. Yep. This is literally light blue. This is literally light blue. Are you tripping? That's literally light blue, bud. Nah, bro, that's light blue. Watch. I bet I know exactly. I know exactly what it is. Watch this. Watch. Hold on, I forgot where the setting is. I forgot it. Give me a second. It is. Oh yes, right here. Yep. I bet this is it. Let me just make sure this is good. Okay. Now does it look like it again? Now is that light blue? And if I go back here and do this, dark blue. It's the outline, bud. I just changed the outline. I didn't touch the color. The color didn't change. The outline did. It's literally the same exact blue. I just changed the outline. So literally, you can't tell the difference, Caleb. It's the same blue. It's the same blue, bud. Like, dude. I already gave my thoughts for today. Mainly, storms fire about 6, 7 o'clock Eastern. Tornado threat peaks about 7 to 8 Eastern when storms are a bit mature but not too upscale. Damaging winds peak between 8 to 9, 9:30 Eastern. Large hail also could be possible anywhere between 6 to 9, 9:30. And then 10, 11 o'clock Eastern, storms start to die out. Midnight, much of it's just moderate rainfall. That time frame is all in Eastern. Yeah, I found out the darker outline is way better than the lighter outline. Warnings look a lot better now. I changed that setting. I think you can set the outline to like literally anything. Like, could I literally just... Could I do like... Yep, yep, sure can. Now I have got red and blue special weather statements, red and yellow severe warnings. Oh, wow, that looks weird. Oh my goodness, that looks horrible. Change it back. Change it back now. Okay, there we go. Hopefully most of you guys know how to do time conversion. I mean, I think most people know how to do that, right? You just literally take off an hour if you're in Central, 2 hours if you're in Mountain, 3 hours in Pacific. I learned that a long time ago. But doing live streams in weather like this, it's kept me, I could do it a lot quicker now. It's a lot easier. Sometimes I forget though that dumb old time change comes up, and then that's when things get difficult for Zulu, and Eastern time conversions. Nah, I like the flashing color white because it really pops out. But I like the highlight black. See, like that just popped out. You can easily tell that's a new warning right there. That is going to be them expiring that. A new update is what I meant to say. So, severe warning no longer in effect there for Fall Creek. But alright, if you guys have any questions, go right ahead and ask them in chat. We're getting pretty close to the end of the live stream. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, share the channel and the stream with your family, friends, social media. And if you're new, consider hitting that subscribe button with a notification bell set to all, so you know when I go live or upload a video. The next content possibly could be Friday. But I'm not for sure. I really don't know. It's just going to be on when I'm available or not. I'm not sure if I'll be available. We'll see. This weekend is going to be very busy for me. Just like 2 weekends ago. I've been busy. This month has been busy. Very busy. July has been very busy. Ever since the end of June, I've just been swamped with stuff. Minneapolis, we'll see redeveloping storms. Well, storms are about to come to an end, which is good news for additional storm development, because that means that your environment's going to start to re-destabilize. It all comes down to how fast the front is. If the front is fast, then it's going to pass you before storms fire. If the front is a bit slower, then storms are going to fire very close to you. So I think it's going to be a close call. I think there is kind of a 50-50 shot. I think it's a 50-50 shot. 50% chance the front's a little too fast. 50% chance the front's, just slow enough to where storms fire over you. Either way, if you do see storms, it's going to be mainly damaging winds. Small hail will be the main threat. I wouldn't rule out, I can't fully rule out a tornado somewhere back out in this area in the 2%, but it's definitely not likely or anything like that. We'll likely see one tornado somewhere today, but exactly where, that's impossible to say. New mesoscale discussion for the potential of a tornado or two, 55 to 70 mile-an-hour winds, and 1.25-inch hail being possible. A severe thunderstorm watch may be needed soon if wind gust threat continues to increase, and that is across, let me quickly show you. That is across this red area here. So it looks like they're not thinking the Twin Cities are going to see much today. But again, still be weather aware. I ain't grabbing no camera crews. I'm not doing that. No thanks. But yeah, that's going to be it for this live stream. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you guys whenever I am live next. We've already passed the ending time. I'm too fast. So I'll see you guys in maybe a video Friday. We'll just see. It just depends on if I can get it recorded or not. I'll just see. What is the next major severe weather event? Sometime in the next year. There's no major weather event that's like moderate risk worthy anytime soon. There's no setup like that for a long time. Could be even another few months, honestly. Well, it just depends. We'll see. It's hard to say exactly, but in the short term, in the next week to 1 to 2 weeks, there is no event even remotely close to that magnitude of a severe major severe event. So I'll catch y'all in the next one. Stay safe, watch severe weather, and have a great rest of your day. And that's it. Thank you boss for watching chat. Goodbye. Stay safe, watch the weather, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream or video that I do. Thank you, mods, for mod chat, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their Wednesday. See you in the next one. Goodbye.